Now, city leaders are joining forces to take on this spring storm with response efforts, while at the same time preparing for what's yet to come. Normally, city workers are preparing for summer events, but instead 1,100 city employees are trying to keep up with this storm, fixing power lines, clearing roadways, and with a lot of people assuming Johnson would announce his retirement, their predictions are correct. Less than an hour to cast their vote. The polls are open until 7 p.m. Behind me, an orange fence is set up separating those for and against capital punishment. Robert Bass III killed Conde Vargas with a baseball bat. The T City Council will be meeting inside these doors behind me to talk about the future of the T Police Department. The canoe was recovered here along the river. To protect your plants from frost, people can use a light sheet, light blanket, or fabric like this burlap by simply putting the cloth over the plant to protect from frost and keep warmth in. Good evening, I'm Ashley Kringen. Two companies accused of selling improperly labeled fuel in South Dakota have agreed to pay the state nearly $80,000. With rain and freezing rain to start the weekend and now snow and wind to finish it off, it's been a tough couple of days for travelers. Tonight after a fire destroyed their home. Two Sioux Falls families started the new year off with bundles of joy. Well, Cody, I did a lot of running today, and that's because I was trying to get out of the cold and back inside. Officials literally just opened the roads to traffic after being closed for quite some time following the accident. Investigators and crews have also left the scene, but as you can see behind me, some damage as a result of the accident. That's what's left of what once was the Taylor's Pantry sign. Now, witnesses I spoke to who saw the crash happen before their own eyes were in disbelief at the time of the accident.
It's tragic because I think somebody actually lost their life in that accident.
And someone did lose their life. Clyde Henriksen says he was stopped at a light on Minnesota when he noticed a Chevy Blazer behind him traveling fast toward his car.
I was just stopped and I seen him in my rearview mirror, and he come whipping around me, almost hit me.
Then Henriksen watched the deadly accident unfold.
He hit the Durango, went up on the curb, ramped up, hit the side and sideways, did a couple turns and flipped over in the lot. Officer Sam Clemens with the Sioux Falls Police Department says the Chevy Blazer was traveling northbound on Minnesota when the driver struck a Dodge Durango, which in turn struck a pickup. The Blazer then hit a sign for Taylor's Pantry on the southeast corner of Minnesota and 41st, flipped a couple of times, landing in an empty lot. Now it's up to investigators to try to put the pieces together to find out exactly what caused this fatal crash.
They'll look at all the physical evidence. That'll include skid marks, gouges that are in the road, the damage that was done to the other vehicles. There's a lot of physics that play into this.
As Henriksen recalls the tragic crash from start to finish, he says he was relieved to see the children involved in the accident conscious and moving.
I'm just glad none of them were really hurt.
Now, police say it's been a while since they've seen a crash involving this many cars and people injured in quite some time. Reporting live in Sioux Falls, I'm Ashley Kringen, KDLT News. But for some businesses this morning, coming into work with no power was something they never expected. Downtown Sioux Falls is usually a busy sight in the mornings. You can see people walking to work, eating at various restaurants, or shopping. A Friday morning, the city looked like a ghost town. Dozens of signs hang in business doorways, saying closed due to power outage and closed until electricity is back. For Mark Gillespie, general manager of the Phillips Avenue Diner downtown, his day took a turn for the worse when the early morning underground explosion stopped his business from operating.
Pretty negatively, being that we're closed.
Gillespie says he's holding on to the hope that Excel will figure out how to turn the power back on soon. But while crews are bearing the cold, trying to figure out what caused the unexpected boom, Gillespie and his team are working to stay positive.
Trying to be productive and proactive while we're closed and just doing whatever we can to get reopened as soon as possible.
Kaladi's Coffee, Legend and Bistro downtown is another business affected by the explosion. The early riser hotspot usually opens its doors at 6:45 in the morning.
We basically just had to keep the doors locked and not open and wait until we heard word from Excel Energy.
Word came nearly 3 hours later. They finally opened their doors for business at 10 a.m.
We lost out a little bit, but back in action.
While the Phillips Avenue Diner hopes to be back in action soon too, Gillespie says they'll stay posted at the restaurant to answer questions for hungry people wanting to dine.
We're staying here just for the presence for our customers and just let them know the situation, and we're trying to resolve it as quickly as possible.
Not only have businesses been affected, some people who live in downtown are left with no power and no place warm to sleep tonight. Now, the Red Cross has set up cots at their shelter for people to use if needed. Reporting live in downtown Sioux Falls, I'm Ashley Kringen, KDLT News.